B-I.
Welcome to the CaveCast, sucker!
Oh, yeah. That's right, motherfucker. Dude, and again, I don't know. What's the date? Sunday, March 29th. The year of our Dark Lord 2015. You are back with the CaveCast. I'm Ad Meyer. With me in studio, 2 weeks in a row, St. Kynes is with us.
Yeah.
Doing another throwback podcast. Marcus isn't here, but he may join us at some point. So we got his mic set up for him. Yeah. So,
working on a Sunday.
Working on a Sunday. Oh yeah, it's the Sabbath. What was he thinking?
Yeah.
What's the story with the Sabbath? Because
the real Sabbath.
Saturday is sometimes.
The real Sabbath is sunset at Friday to sunset on Saturday.
Damn.
And
okay.
That's for Jews and Seventh-day Adventists, pretty much, though. It's if you really ever wanted to get into it, it's extremely boring. But somewhere along the lines, Christians moved away from the Sabbath without the direction of the Bible. The Bible never tells you to abandon the Sabbath. It explicitly says more than once to keep the Sabbath. But yeah, that's what they call Seventh-day Adventists, the Sabbath keepers.
We don't know how to start a show, people. So,
yeah.
We took a week off because it was my 1 year anniversary with my girlfriend last weekend, and we did something Saturday, but it was like, well, you know, the real anniversary is Sunday, so it's like, okay. We'll skip. The people can wait for 1 week.
Me and Natalie had our 6th year.
Holy shit.
March 10th.
My little measly 1 year doesn't sound like shit.
Dude, it's been a long, dark, twisted situation with us, but we're still here.
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should thank her also for allowing you to come do this today, or else I'd be doing Bill Burr style right now.
Yeah.
I didn't know Marcus wasn't going to be here.
Well, we made plans to get the kids out of the house because they've been sick for a week and just crammed in the house, and they just started feeling better. So we were like, we'll get them out, get them to wildlife safari to see some animals or something.
Nice. Well, I mean, it's a nice day for it.
Wow.
It's starting to get nicer. I'm liking it. So I really, I don't have a lot for this week. Have you heard anything interesting? Because I got one thing that I don't know if you've followed, because you don't follow MMA super close, right?
Not super close.
So
I have been following Mcgregor and Aldo a little bit.
Okay, that's what I want to talk about.
I've become a big fan of this Mcgregor guy based on interviews alone.
Dude, I love him. For people that don't know, start watching MMA right now, because they're doing something. They're doing this world tour for a fight that's on July 11th. And it's for the 145 featherweight title. And it's the champ, Jose Aldo, who I believe hasn't been beaten in over 5 years. When he first came in, he was in the WEC, and he just was running through people, just knocking them out. He destroyed Uriah Faber's leg.
He's got a highlight reel that's out of this world.
Yeah. And more recently, where, you know, he came in to the UFC when the UFC bought WEC with his title, and has just defended it ever since. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's doing like...
How much does he weigh?
145.
Yeah. So the same size as Mayweather.
Yeah.
Weight-wise, anyways.
That was the one I always wanted to see, was Jose Aldo Mayweather when he was dogging on MMA.
Dude.
Wanted to see Jose kick his leg off. Just kick it off.
The first time Floyd got kicked in the leg hard, he would be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably has no
switch
idea.
his stance up probably from what he normally does immediately.
Yeah.
So, like, that's Jose Aldo, and he obviously the 145-pound division has kind of these lighter weights have developed, some slower than others, and they've only introduced 125 recently, so it's kind of not a very deep division.
Mm-hmm.
The 145 division is now packed with monsters.
It's the same in boxing. Like the
Yeah.
welterweight division in boxing is those would be welterweights in boxing. I don't know about.
It's just
the
full of
UFC.
savages,
Yeah,
right?
it's those size guys just put on good fights because they're small, but they just big enough to have some power.
Yep. And they don't get tired.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
They're just amazing athletes.
The top 5 in the UFC featherweight division right now, and for anybody that knows anything about MMA, you'll know this is Jose Aldo. Number 2, I believe, is either Frankie Edgar or Chad Mendez. And Chad Mendez has lost to Jose twice now, and he got knocked out the first time. He's the one that he tried to take him down, and Jose spun around and kneed him in the face and put him to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That was their first fight, and then they went to a real good decision last year. But so he's got 2 losses to the champ, and he's either ranked 2 or 3, and he's basically a gatekeeper at this point because you got to do a lot of work to get a third shot after you've lost twice to a champion.
Yeah. It's the same in boxing too.
Yeah. And so then you've got Frankie Edgar, who's already lost to Jose Aldo one time. But anybody else, he destroyed. We came on all sad, I think, on the CaveCast last year at some point because he just destroyed BJ Penn, just retired BJ Penn in the most just brutal way.
Yeah, I remember reading about it too.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
But then you've got Conor McGregor, who's 4-0 in the UFC, has knocked out all but one opponent, and the one time he went to decision, it was when he blew his knee out. He had to have a whole reconstructive surgery, and was out for a year. But he blew his knee out in the second round and came back and just took the guy down and won a decision. So he's got that in his toolbox too.
Yeah, I like the way McGregor. I like the way he talks.
Yeah. He's Irish. He's very brash.
He seems like a smart guy, though.
Yeah.
Like, as brash as he is, he comes off like a guy who's thought this.
And when he's not talking shit about somebody, when he's talking about the fight game, and you can really see, I saw a thing. I'm going to play one for you. I don't know if you've watched those, probably.
I haven't watched a bunch, but the reason why I started going and paying a little bit of attention is on my either YouTube or Facebook feed, there was a Dana White interview. Where Dana White was on ESPN.
Talking about him?
And they talked about, because they were asking Dana White, the reason why I clicked on it is because Dana White was addressing Mayweather Pacquiao.
Oh, okay.
And then part of the reason why, though, was because McGregor said that they were going to beat Mayweather Pacquiao in pay-per-view numbers. And even Dana was like, that's craziness. But,
right.
I hope, but we do have a potential to do a lot because we have all of Brazil. We have McGregor's country, we have America, we have Canada. The whole world is going to be watching this fight. But he's like beating Mayweather Pacquiao. I don't know. McGregor might be crazy. But then
we're filling up fucking football stadiums.
Yeah. From then I
just
started
trying to
clicking
get that
on
money.
Different clips of those two, and he's just been in Aldo's face, man.
Dude,
but he's funny. Like I find him witty and funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great, and he was a 2-division champion in Cage Warriors, which is like a European AAA league, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a champ at 155 and 145, and just other than that, has been running through people. Hasn't really fought a super tough guy yet. I mean, everybody there is super tough, but he hasn't really fought a top 5er.
Right. He still needs to be tested.
But then after Conor McGregor, you've got Ricardo Lamas,
mm-hmm.
and he's lost to the champion in a title fight. So everybody in the top 5 has already lost to Aldo except for Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And now he's coming out, and you've never seen Jose Aldo in his entire championship reign be mocked like this, and
That's what I saw in the interviews.
Just getting on him. And did you see the one where he actually? I don't want number 7. I want number 6. Fucking hell. He actually, Jose had his belt sitting down while they were at a media obligation, and he was in another room doing an interview. And Conor came in, and he's all, "Give me that." And he took the belt and he put it on his shoulder and stood in the window of the door where Jose.
No, I didn't see that.
And he was going, "Come and get it, you little Brazilian fuck. Come and get it. I see the fear in your eyes."
He's like at a snatch, like.
He's
just a
One Punch
character,
Mickey.
man.
Like tattoos all over his
And he's a dude. He's
chest.
I watched because I remember watching him at work. They showed one of his fights on Spike. And then after a couple of the interviews, I watched what I could online of him, and he's a badass.
Yeah.
Just is. Like he looks like a complete fighter.
He's another guy that's got a highlight reel that's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, I think this. Yeah, this is.
Oh, they're doing like a 24/7.
So, okay, that's what I guess that was the point I was trying to make. They are doing a full media tour for a fight that's 3 months away,
Yeah.
and they've been in Brazil, they went to Boston, LA, Las Vegas, Toronto, I think.
Yeah,
they're going to go to Ireland and
they're doing
take it
full
there.
blown boxing PPV style.
Yeah. And it's
I love this city. I mean, Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo, the game.
I'll find this shit. It's brilliant what they're doing, because I'm a huge MMA fan as it is.
Yeah.
I didn't need that to be excited, but I'm twice as excited.
I've thought ever since I saw the first episode of 24/7 for HBO and boxing that for at least big fights, the UFC should do that. It's dude, it's so awesome watching the two guys are gonna fight each other like in this 4-part documentary leading up to the fight. Just the two camps talking shit, watching them get ready, just seeing how they live leading up to the fight makes the fight that much more interesting.
Okay. He said Conor thinks about him when he's alone and gives him diarrhea.
God, dude, McGregor wants to get down right this second. Dana's just like, yeah. They're both hard dudes, though. Like,
yeah, you can. There's. I mean, Conor keeps saying it, but I'm not seeing any fear in Jose's eyes.
He's
but
like,
he is getting in his head, though.
Yeah, that's what Floyd does.
Yeah,
like Floyd tries to throughout. Well, not so much these days. He's been the bad guy for so long that he's trying to win people back. But if you go back to 24, you can watch the old 24/7s actually. But you go back to the first one with Oscar. I mean that Floyd was basically McGregor in the situation, and he was just he taunted Oscar. He brought up things from his past and got in his face and
like dressing like a girl in a
he brought up
hotel
all
room.
sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya is what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The cross-dressing in a hotel room.
Floyd wasn't the PPV king until he fought Oscar.
Yeah.
And then that like
Well,
exploded.
this is that fight right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
That's what
Because-
I'm kind of comparing it to in my mind.
Because, okay, so I was trying to think about it, like, because I was like, there's some real cocky guys in the UFC that I just don't like John Jones and Josh Koscheck, and who just needs to retire. Josh Koscheck he's 5 losses in a row, and the only reason he's not fired is because he was on that original Ultimate Fighter show, and Dana's got a soft spot. But it's just sad. But anyways,
5 in a row is bad, man.
yeah, you don't get to 5 in a row. You're usually fired before that,
Yeah.
unless you are a super exciting fighter.
That's true. There's been guys that racked up a lot of losses, but they were able to stick around and be relevant because they were warriors and they kept the fight
Leonard
close.
Garcia was one of those guys. He was just never in a boring fight.
So Gotti was kind of that way towards the end.
Yeah.
Gotti had lost a lot and Ward, but you still wanted to see their next fight because they were going to make it a war.
Yeah. Like what's the guy's name that the 49-year-old Bernard
Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's always kind of fought safe, right? He doesn't not a big knockout guy, but
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Hopkins because they considered him boring.
yeah.
But
And that's what, you got Floyd. People get frustrated with Floyd because nobody can beat him at his game.
Why
He doesn't
Hopkins
have
kind
to.
of sticks up for Floyd.
Yeah.
And picks Floyd I think Hopkins understands Floyd more than most other fighters because Hopkins was similar to Floyd
Yeah.
and got some of the same critiques. But one thing Hopkins never got critiqued for is nobody ever accused Hopkins of ducking anybody
Right.
because Hopkins fights everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
How many fights does he have on
give
his
a
career?
shit. He fights everybody.
I wonder how many he's got. But my point is there's those guys, Floyd. I don't like Floyd because of the way he is and
Yeah.
shit. And I was trying to figure out why I'm such a big Conor fan. Now I'm like Anderson Silva was my favorite fighter of all time, and I got super excited for his fights, but also I was emotionally invested in his fights. And now this Conor one, I want him to win, but I also it wouldn't destroy me if he lost because
Yeah.
also I'm not sure now. I'm starting to lean towards Conor could win this fight, but I started out going, I think Jose's just gonna pick him apart.
I don't know enough to know between the two, but the cockiness.
He's
thing,
an expert on human movement. They don't tink like I tink. They don't hit like I hit. He's gonna feel his power, and every featherweight in the division's gonna hear it. But
I think he's the cockiness thing and it's weird because just like you said, I've liked guys for that very reason.
yeah.
Because their cockiness is fun.
Well, I'm trying to.
But then I've actually even had guys I like become cocky, and then I don't like them because of that.
right.
It's
That's
some
like a
guys
John
will pull it
Jones
off.
kind of thing because I
Yeah.
like John at the beginning, but then you start seeing his personality a little more,
Yeah.
and that's one thing where this UFC embedded. If you want to watch this, if you want to have something draw you into MMA or give it a chance, watch the UFC 189 World Tour Embedded series. Watch it from start to finish, and I guarantee you'll be locked in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just like you said, he's like a fun cocky.
Right. I
Like-
think that's what it is.
Like he's always funny.
if you can do it with humor,
Yeah.
then maybe that's that's what's getting us.
Yeah, because he doesn't take himself he obviously takes himself seriously, but not like a John Jones takes himself seriously. It's
Well, he's
kind
being
of,
so ridiculous that
Yeah.
that he can't be completely
I'll take
serious.
that belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told him to spit shine it for him. There was an interview where he told Jose to sit on his lap and call him daddy.
Well, he's trying to sell a fight too,
And
some guys are good at that.
and that's
Chael
another
Sonnen,
thing what
you know.
made me think is I didn't like Chael Sonnen. Might have been because he had a rivalry with my favorite fighter.
Yeah.
But I started to like him when he got funnier. When it's like he got
Yeah.
you're getting
He's
a laugh
taking a
out
page
of it.
out of box, or
Muhammad
anybody
Ali.
just And sometimes it's just part of their personality. They have to do that to get themselves
Right.
worked up. You know,
Yeah.
depends on the guy.
Well, when he wasn't in shit talk mode, they went to a gym and worked out, and he said he's basically like he's got a wife and kid at home that that he misses them and blah 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 and he's all, I don't have that. He's all, I come here. He's all, because this is where I feel good. He's like, I love this part of it. He's all, some guys, they can't get into the gym. He's all, but I just love being here. And
Well, if he could keep that, he could end up staying great, because the biggest part of it is, it's hard. Getting up for a fight is one thing, but being able to go in and train, and training's not fun. Like,
No.
not for most guys, but for the guys who love training, like Hopkins and Floyd, or in boxing.
yeah,
And I guess McGregor, they just tend to have better careers because they're
Dude.
always in shape.
I put in the first hard workout that I put in like months yesterday, and I'm sore as fuck. And I was telling myself last night, I'm like, you're gonna get up way early, go for a jog, get some of that lactic acid out, and keep this going. And then I got up this morning, I was like, I better have this shit set up in time for Kinds, and
I better take a rest day after that hard.
yeah,
I
did so much.
I've been hitting my heavy bag really hard, and
You know what?
Wake up.
You know
the
what I'm
next
seeing
day.
right here? I'm seeing the effects of nobody being like ZY, and me and you just started hitting the heavy bag and started lifting weights.
Yeah.
You got to have something to shoot for, and now we do.
I'm still not throwing kicks yet because I just feel ridiculous kicking still, but I'll go out and hit the heavy bag for a couple hours.
I think we should film. We should film your first kicking practice.
Oh, that would be awful. I mean, because sometimes I'll joke around and at work, and I'll be like spinning back kick, and I'll kick like the basketball. And dude, I'm not even bringing my leg up level. Like I'm just, like when my back kick is like, it's just like I have no flexibility.
Dude, what is he, the something manager at the place I work?
Yeah.
The other day, he now thinks I'm a ninja because I got lucky. Okay, I had this thing, it was something I was gonna throw away, and I threw it up in the air and I spun around and did a spinning back kick.
Oh, dude, I've tried to do that so many times and never landed it.
So I get it, first try, total luck, right? And then I figured, like, okay, nobody saw that. I looked all around, nobody fucking saw it, and I'm like, fuck. And so then this guy, he's walking by, and I go, hey Tim, and at this point I have no confidence because I'm like, it'll be funny, when I miss this, it'll be at least funny for somebody. So I spin around and I actually got it the second try. Haven't got one since, by the way, but
you just got 2 in a row.
But I got it, and he just now thinks I'm a ninja.
He's probably like, holy shit. It sucks when you do something crazy like that and no one is watching.
Oh, dude, the coolest story I have of doing that, I had a witness. It was Jerry.
Yeah.
Of CaveCast and beard fame. I'm sitting on my bed. I'm sitting on the end of my bed, and you remember those change counters? You would drop a coin in the top of it, and it would separate it into
the lid counts it.
Yeah, well, it's like a bzzz,
and
then it rolls down, and whatever slot it fits into, it falls into the
little
coin rolls.
Right.
So I had one of those, and it's sitting up on a shelf, probably not very far, like 5 feet away from me. And Jerry's standing in my doorway, and we're just bullshitting. And I have a nickel in my hand, and I take the nickel, and I have this thought that just, like, nobody ever did anything super awesome, like, without trying it,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not gonna do super awesome shit if you don't try to do super awesome shit.
Right.
So I thought in my head, like, I wonder if I can get this nickel into the fucking, and there's not a lot of room. Just into the coin slot.
Way I try ridiculous.
So
shit
I'm like, boom, and I flick it. The nickel goes into the nickel slot somehow, miraculously.
Yeah.
And I just do the slow glance over to Jerry, and he's sitting there with his jaw open too. And I was like, "You did see that?"
Yeah.
And he's all, I fucking saw it, dude.
Yeah,
and,
it's
and we
crazy.
get up and check, and sure enough, it's in the nickel slot.
Yeah, you just
Which was also, I didn't know which one was the nickel slot, but it just went in there. And
that's awesome. It sucks when nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Like at work,
do you have a fake story of something that you probably didn't do that nobody saw?
Yeah, since nobody saw it. It's just little things like one day, one of the guys I took care of came home. He grabbed this plastic cup and he just hurled it at my face. And just out of like reaction, I brought my hand up, and just the way I caught it.
Yeah.
Like just like perfect ninja status. He was even so amazed that he saw it, but he can't tell anybody.
He snapped out of his afflictedness.
He literally, like his eyes got big and he just sat down and just chilled out.
He hasn't said a word in 8 years, and he just goes, "Holy fucking shit!"
It was awesome, dude. I was just like, "Dick." It's just one of those things. And I was watching Ari Shafir's Passive Aggressive.
We watched that last night. Actually, I introduced Ari to my sisters.
That's a good one. I must have listened to it, the record.
I've never seen it all the way,
But I
through.
never watched it.
Yeah, until I recorded it.
Remember when he talks about trying to catch the piece of chicken with the chopsticks?
Yeah.
Like as if you
I
ever
hit it
would.
with my wrist and made it go faster down.
Well, I actually caught something with a pair of chopsticks one time when I was eating Chinese food, and
Dude, never do awesome shit if you don't try.
it was a Szechuan chow mein noodle. It literally went to go off the plate, and I just with my chopsticks tried to catch it, and I caught the motherfucker. Nobody saw it to this day, so I could be lying.
Yeah, he
but
definitely is.
no witnesses. But it was just
You
one
can
of
see
those
it in
things.
his
Where I'm
eyes.
like,
If you guys
no,
could
there's
see the look in
nobody.
these eyes.
I caught that shit with the fucking chopsticks.
You ever drop a knife in the kitchen and by instinct try to catch it?
Yeah,
And then you're happy that you're not a ninja because you're
I-
like, that could have been stitches.
Yeah, I've made things worse too. Like Ari said though too. Like when you go to try to fix something and you just like you drop it and you reach really fast and end up knocking 3 other things over.
Yeah.
I don't know why. My instinct is to go for it. You know, when I drop something but you know, like with the chopstick or the cup catching thing, you know, you could do that 100 times, and 99 times it's gonna hit me in the face. But that's that one time.
Just
you know?
that one, because you can't recreate it. That's why I was
Right.
so happy that I somehow recreated that, because I'd never even tried it before to kick something spinning.
Yeah.
I've been doing it with just regular
I
kicks.
still
like
haven't
throwing
landed
it up
that
and
one.
Trying to kick it into the garbage can. I'll try to.
I try like just throwing it up and back kicking it.
Yeah.
Still have never landed one, but I'm less coordinated. And stuff.
I'm like 2 for 20 at this point.
Well, if you get good at it, it could be like a party trick.
Well, it's
you know?
funny. I mean, have you ever watched Rogan's training videos where he's doing spinning kicks and stuff?
I saw him train.
GSP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's talking about, you've got to do this particular kick like 10,000 times before you're good at it, And
he
it's
is
just
good
about
at it, man.
dude, I've never seen more perfect.
It's weird watching Joe
spin
Rogan
back.
teach one
The
of the
welterweight,
best, yeah,
the best welterweight of all time.
and he and GSP was genuinely like recording it and taking pictures, like and couldn't do it at first,
Yeah.
not proper.
And he
Just
was
goes to show you
he
how
was
much you can still
amazed
learn.
by Rogan's power. That,
Oh, dude, just
he-
seeing the difference in when Rogan kicked the bag and when GSP kicked the bag, it was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, Rogan could kick you through a brick wall, man. Like,
Yeah.
I had to,
Did you see
no
this
idea.
the Thug Life video of his
Yeah.
where there's this drunk bitch giving him shit and she's like, "Man, you're not funny," and then she starts blowing her cheeks out and he's like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And she's all, "You're fucking fat," and he goes, "I'm fat." He's all, "Check this out," and he lifts his shirt up and he's got a perfect sixer, and then the
I haven't
fucking
seen that one.
bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks comes on or something,
I seen him get in a fight with a feminist in a parking lot and a couple other heckler ones, but I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff out there. Well, Redman, I guess. Redman. Did I say Redman?
I don't know. It sounded like Red Band to me.
Okay. Redman followed him around like with a camera a bunch back in the day before they had the actual podcast. I think they were just always doing shit and filming shit.
I watched the old clip of, and this is like this is like back probably when Ari's depressed days even.
Yeah.
Him and Ari are sitting in that the hotel room or whatever, or lobby, talking about Carlos Mencia on South Park.
Oh, I think I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, and Rogan's, looks all tired, and they're just sitting there, and they're
Probably
just,
on an
they had
edible or
just seen
something,
it.
cocksucker.
They just seen the episode of Kanye and the Gay Fish with Carlos Mencia, and that I wouldn't watch that because I just saw that episode again. Yeah, it's weird going back and watching that old stuff. But seeing Ari back then. Now he's like blowing up, and
Dude, did you see the whole Stern thing?
yeah, yeah, I did.
Did we talk about that last week?
I don't think so.
Oh, we weren't here last week.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, Howard Stern tried to did you actually listen to what he said?
Yeah, Howard Stern seems to be, to me, and I don't hate Howard. I don't hate him.
This might have turned me over the fucking...
But he just doesn't understand podcasts, because he keeps saying, if you want to be, really want to be a radio, they don't want to be radio guys. They can give a shit.
Nobody
less.
wants to be a radio guy.
Yeah, but and he thinks that the podcast is something to get you
so
to radio.
out of touch.
Yeah.
It's so out of touch. And I don't...
And he's like, and if
Hello,
you,
Mr. Stern. I would like to thank you for mentioning me on your fine radio program.
Well, he keeps saying, like, you could do a podcast or you could do a podcast in your room, or go do comedy. Like, as if he doesn't realize that the podcasts are helping their comedy.
Yeah.
It's making their comedy bigger. And he didn't even do his homework because he keeps saying, I've never heard of Ari. He's 40 years old and hasn't done anything. Yeah. But he's literally got 2 specials and a TV show on Comedy Central right now.
And some other shit in the works.
Yeah.
And
so I think Howard
headlining...
just ended up coming off stupid.
Yeah. And you really saw how completely out of touch he is at this point. And fuck, what does he do? Dancing with the Stars or Voice or
one of them?
American,
one of those shows.
American Idol? I don't know. But yeah, he just...
I think he either doesn't understand it, and he seems to be a little confused by it. And at the same time, I think he might be a little threatened by it. Because it is something that's threatening his medium, I guess.
Right.
Like, it's the only thing. Radio is almost done.
Yeah.
That is kind of a sad thing, I guess. But
I think Sirius is helping to kill it too.
Yeah.
From the sounds of you listen to the guys that are on there.
I mean, Sirius was supposed to be come say whatever you want, and
God, I hope that doesn't happen with the internet.
Well, they did protect the net neutrality.
I know, but I feel like did you hear Anthony Cumia explain it?
Yeah, but I don't agree with him.
Okay.
I think,
I don't know enough to not, but it sounded cool. I mean, it sounded legit.
No, I don't think that there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
I think there is something to it. I think that it will have to be like the NRA. It's crazy almost.
Right.
As in, as soon as somebody even attempts to even try to get one little thing through, we have to set their house on fire. But I think that we'll keep the internet as free as it is.
I hope so, man. It's fine how it is,
I don't think you can tame it. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, the way the internet is set up, taming the internet like you do radio and TV is almost impossible. Just because you can't rein in all that content.
It's really weird to think about, like on a real universal level, like how the internet happened and like how it's
Yeah.
It's like thinking about the stuff that Neil deGrasse Tyson does. What is he?
Astrophysicist.
It's like thinking about string theory.
Yeah, it
is.
is.
It's hard to make sense about it with my stupid mind.
Well, and his point is like we can't just put whatever we want on TV. We can't just put whatever we want on radio. You have to go through gatekeepers, but you can from your home put whatever you want on the internet, and that makes it different than anything else. So you just can't tame that.
Yeah.
If anybody in the world at any time can upload something they just did, you're never going to be able to tame that. So the only thing you could do is levy punishments for things, and I don't think they'll ever.
I think
be able
that
to pull
gets
that
out of
off.
hand real quick too if they tried that. So yeah, it's
Besides, there's enough white knights and fucking Media Matters websites that are policing everything everybody says, anyways.
Yeah, in the Barry McCockiner Juniors of the world.
Yeah, I've been debating people on Facebook on this Bill Maher thread about PC. Because I didn't
look at it, but what was?
Well, he was attacking how politically correct liberals are
Okay.
these days. And
Yes, I want to like Bill Maher, but then I think he's getting a little too liberal sometimes about stuff. But then he impresses me.
yeah.
So
One thing Bill Maher's been consistent on, because he's not, like I said, even on there, Bill's not immune to being a hypocrite.
yeah,
But one thing he's been totally consistent on is protecting free speech. He protected Don Imus when he said the nappy-headed hose thing. He protected Rush Limbaugh more than once. He as far as keeping their jobs. He doesn't think you should try to force people to apologize or get them fired when
Patrice, don't
right.
get me fired. Don't fire me.
Right. My argument is this: forcing a bigot to say they're sorry or trying to get them fired is not going to equal one less bigot.
Right.
You're gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
You're not gonna change that bigot's mind by pissing him off. You defeat bigots with logic and information.
And all these things, they seem so knee jerk all the time too, because
They are.
everything goes away in a week and a half in this world that we live in.
It's a combination of people responding to things because they really do care, like they have a gay friend or a black friend or whatever, and they don't see a comment they don't like. Then there's white knights. There's people that don't really care, but they're coming to the aid of other people.
Yeah.
They haven't even said they were offended yet, just to try to convince everybody they're a good person. That's what a white knight is.
Well, and it's somebody dying to be offended too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's my thing that
here's my struggle.
bothers me, and now I can, like, I don't know. It just seems like everybody's just waiting for their thing that they can complain about, and it ruins it. It ruins it for the people that really do have an actual gripe and can make sense out of it. It's like say a girl that gets drunk and fucks the college football quarterback, and then decides she wants to say he raped her or something, and then as opposed to the many actual rapes that go on
right,
unnoticed, or the girls that get accused of doing
it
lying about it
waters
when
down
they
the
actually
actual
were.
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
If it gets to the point where, you just get attacked over every little thing, then people just start to, when an actual and real injustice really occurs, people are just going to go like, oh, it's just them whining again. You're ruining your own cause.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing, is you're not accomplishing your real goal, which is to get rid of that particular idea or thought process, and you're making it worse on top of it. You're just you're watering down your cause and you're making it look stupid.
Yeah. Just for future reference, if something bothers you, first of all, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Completely okay. But maybe take a week to ponder on it and think about why it bothers you.
Yeah, come up with a 5-point system
think
of
about
why they're wrong.
Instead of just having a complaint, think about something to fix the situation, or just stop trying to knee jerk get people fired because they have different opinions than you,
or boycott them if they don't apologize. Like, do you really want a fake apology? What the fuck does that accomplish?
Yeah. And
you
people
force somebody to apologize. Wow.
And people that say like racist things on the internet, it's like, good. You don't want to shut those people up because they're basically holding up a sign of how you need to think about them. And
I think like bigots,
maybe you can get their phone number and hang out sometime. Shoot guns.
I think bigots just need to be talked to. Like,
I think Smollett's also.
And
Jesus Christ.
Smollett, just need to be touched. Smollett just need to be touched.
I never saw more disgusted looks on my family's faces than a couple nights ago. We had like a family dinner and I was just chipping it up. I wasn't doing the voice, but I would say the joke and I would just stare at people in the face.
In all seriousness.
And just pun after pun. And just of people just going, oh. And I said, what did I say? That? Oh, my sister's kid fell asleep on the couch and he was sweating. And I said, it looks like the Shroud of Turin when they picked him up. And then they're like, is that pee? I'm like, or like, is that drool? And I'm like, no, it's sweat, or as I like to call it, skin pee. And just everybody's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we're having dinner.
There's something freeing about, because a lot of people are afraid to joke because they're afraid to say something that stupid. Yeah. But there's something really freeing about purposely being that stupid.
Yeah.
I do it too.
And, my dad, like Uncle Humor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I always felt like my dad did that, but he saw the humor in saying something corny and stupid. Like, so because there's...
Yeah. So do I.
You're not saying it because you think the joke is fucking hilarious. You're saying it because you want that fucking disgusted look. Like,
oh God,
this is just as good as a laugh. Sometimes.
I get it a lot. Natalie, even funny stuff, because Natalie's just so immune to my humor at this point. That
Jessica's getting there too.
I'm like, that would have killed anywhere else in the world.
Any other room except for this one. Yeah, it really. So Patrice O'Neal documentary, is that being made, or?
I didn't.
Anybody that listens to this CaveCast ought to know who Patrice O'Neal is by this point.
Yeah.
And they're doing a Kickstarter for a documentary. I thought that was pretty cool.
I'll watch that shit.
Hell yeah.
There's a fan made one on YouTube that's not that bad.
It's actually not.
But I'd like to see a legit one.
One where the proceeds go to his family and stuff.
That'd be awesome. I want to see even though there's been a billion of them. I want to see Montage of Heck, the Nirvana documentary.
Me too. Well, this is the first
authorized.
Yeah, family authorized.
Yeah, and allowed them to use Nirvana's music, because every Nirvana documentary, it's like pseudo Nirvana music in the background because they don't have the rights to the songs.
What's Rainbow Biscuit doing these days?
I don't know.
Or whatever their kid's name was. Rice Patty?
What is their kid's name?
I can't
Bean.
Frances Bean, yeah.
Bean, yeah, Frances Bean. She's actually kind of hot.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, dude, have you seen Eminem's daughter? Haley?
Yeah.
She's 16, so in like 2 years, I think she's going to be...
Yeah, she's going to be pretty
super hot in 2 years. Whenever the stat shoots up.
I guess she's, super smart and homecoming queen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Good for Eminem.
I read a story like a year ago about she had a boyfriend that was raised that grew up listening to Eminem.
Yeah, that would be so weird.
And he said it was, because he's just like, man, I hope I didn't teach him everything that he knows.
Right. You don't. Yeah. I think about it sometimes. Even
guess what? Your daughter's getting snuck some mushrooms and then finger blasted underneath some stairs.
Like, I was thinking about it, and there was a quote that somebody put on Facebook that said something about like how it was basically the idea was how you know you're a good man is if you're as good of a man as you would want your daughter to date. And I was thinking about how I would not want my daughter to be with a guy like me for the most part. And
it depends on what era.
Yet. Maybe these days I wouldn't be, but I just hope she can do better.
I mean, we all do. We all hope she could do better. We're all pretty sure she doesn't have a choice but to do.
Hopefully she's able to pull something a little better. I think she will. I think she'll pull it off though.
All right, let's go take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and finish this up. Maybe Marcus will be here, maybe not, but I got a funny little story from the weekend. And I've been saving it to tell you, so second half we'll get to that. And what else? We're going to probably just we're going to stare at each other's dicks and just compliment them as such. Mm-hmm. So other than that, stick around. We'll be right back. Now will be a word from your motherfucking sponsors. This week's CMP CaveCast is brought to you by badmotherfucker.com. Log into badmotherfucker.com to order your Bad Motherfucker starter kit and begin your journey to Bad Motherfuckerdom today. Enter the code WAFFLES to get 20% off from your friends at the CMP CaveCast so we can help you be a better you. Bad taste in music? Try being a bad motherfucker. Trouble at school or work? Be a bad motherfucker. Stop being a douche and start being a bad motherfucker today. Bad Motherfucker starter kit includes the entire catalog of Tom Waits albums and a pair of headphones. That's waffles at badmotherfucker.com.
Being a bad motherfucker is not for everybody, and this starter kit should be used with caution. We are not responsible for any injuries that occur from failing to be a bad motherfucker. If it turns out that you are a weak motherfucker or a lame motherfucker, we cannot do anything about it. Thank you.
Never.
Oh. Shut up, Mike.
And we're back after a short break of 60 seconds for you and one epic shit for me.
Yeah.
So a couple of nights ago, a friend of my girlfriend's graduated from school and was having a little get together at her house. So, and I'm
High school or college or what?
Beauty college.
Oh.
So I was thinking the whole time, oh, girls' night, I'll sit here and maybe try to write some music or something and hang out. And then all of a sudden I'm informed that you're going.
Mm-hmm. You gotta love that.
Oh, I am? I thought it was no, her boyfriend's going to be there and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so, okay, well, I know none of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's weird. But I tend to, eventually, if I can worm my way into any conversation, with a couple of beers and start making jokes and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'm antisocial at first, but I'll warm up quickly. So we go there and walk in, and there's a guy. There's two dudes. One of them is, God, I wonder if we do names. So her friend, Jessica's friend, we'll go with, what's a good girl name to go with for the cast? I'm trying to set up the cast for you, but I don't want to.
Beatrice.
So we've got Beatrice, Jessica's
Beatrice
friend,
kiddo.
whose house we went to, and her boyfriend is Brian. Okay, we got Brian and Beatrice, and so there's another guy there, and he's younger. We're gonna go. His name's Merle.
Okay.
They're loggers, and
Good logger name.
yeah. And there's another girl there that goes to school with them, whatever. So I sit down. Beatrice grabs my girlfriend, takes her into the kitchen for some girl talk or whatever. So I sit down with the dudes, and Merle comes over and sits next to me and just kind of asks me a couple things, blah, blah, blah. I find out he's 19 years old. Looks like he's older.
Yeah.
But he's 19, and then he immediately goes into talking about how fucked up his shoulder is and all of this stuff, talking about all his injuries that he suffered, and then talking about how it was from football in high school because he grew up in his brother's shadow, and really starts opening up like immediately.
Yeah, like Anthony.
And just always grew up in my brother's shadow. Guys my dad worked with didn't even know that he had another son, and
He's a sharer.
So just immediately it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other guy seems cool. He doesn't really.
Let me tell you about me.
Yeah, he doesn't really talk a whole lot. The other guy, and what was his name? Brian. We'll go. Yeah. So I end up kind of hanging out with Brian and Merle. And eventually it's just kind of like, okay, this kid's kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was immediately, but I like to give people a chance. So,
Right.
let me consult my notes here because they thought I was texting all night long, but what I was really doing was taking notes for the CaveCast. This was important. So, we all end up in the kitchen and we're bullshitting, and I they're kind of making fun of his hairdo a little bit. This guy, he's got a hat on, but his hair's like sticking out the back, kind of mulletish.
Like mine does when it gets long.
Yeah. Well, he takes his hat off, and I see that he has recently, within the last few days, gotten a haircut. So he told them to keep it like that because he wants to grow a mullet.
Man.
And by the way, he's a logger, and Yeah, just kind of like that guy. Good old boy. Like probably isn't really too fond of Mexicans, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. And so find out he's got a mullet and he's working on a mullet, and I'm like, okay, respect,
Yeah.
whatever. It's different.
Takes balls.
Yeah. And then he proceeds to tell us that he's taking now this country boy, he didn't grow up in Glide, but somewhere like that,
Yeah.
kind of like a Glide boy.
Glide-ish.
Yeah. And proceeds to tell us that
Like, he ate a squirrel before he was 15.
Yeah,
for
probably.
sure.
Well, first, goddamn, I'm a epic storyteller right now. First, I find out that they don't want to smoke weed around him, so they're trying to be secretive. A couple of people there smoked because he is completely against weed. In fact, he called it dope right in front of me.
Oh, man.
So I that was, I kind of started shredding on him a little bit, as I am wont to do. And he called people that smoke weed dopers. 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old man, a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And so I go off on him like, that's not dope, stupid. Just kind of. But this is the guy we're dealing with. Proceeds to tell us that he is taking prenatal vitamins for his hair. So he's basically taking prenatals to grow his mullet.
Wow.
And he goes, hair and teeth, right, ladies? Hair and teeth. Now, from the original description of this guy, did you see that going that way? I don't think so.
No.
Me neither.
No, you usually don't get like mullet and healthy at the same time.
Yeah. So the reason I find out that Brian is so nervous around this guy is because he is his boss's son. He's the boss's kid.
Oh, shit.
Which this is the first time they've hung out.
And he's anti-weed and
He's anti-dopers. Yeah. And just better not. Well, I don't care, because after I started in with like, why? What's questioning his beliefs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
well, what the fuck's your
and he
problem?
goes, just don't have him on the rig with me or on the mountain with me. I don't care what people do, but blah,
Yeah.
just a real old man's vision
boy.
of things. And so then I find out he's the boss's kid, and the guy's just nervous, around him a little bit, and then we're in the kitchen, and this guy's going on again about his shoulder and everything that's wrong with him, and I'm like, yeah, man, shoulder injuries are no joke, just kind of. I'm like, that you never come back. He's like, oh fuck yeah, and I'm like, they're just like knees, and
Sympathizing with him a little
yeah, just because I'm a new being there, and I don't want to immediately just burn everything down.
bit. Right.
And
Good.
so, and then the guy Brian, he goes, my fucking ankle has been killing me. And earlier in the night, I'd noticed that Brian has like some scar, some weird. He's got a circular scar on the back of his hand that's like a bubble, and some scars up his arms. And I thought it was weird shape for just an accident, but I wasn't sure, and also I'm new there, so I wasn't gonna do my usual thing, just be like, "The fuck's up with that hand?" Because usually I will, instead of just. It's like weirder that I'm just sitting here thinking about it, not saying anything.
Right.
In my eyes. So, but I didn't do that. I want to offend somebody, take the chance of offending somebody in this scenario immediately. I'll wait till a couple more beers were drank. But anyways, he goes, my fucking ankle's been killing me. And he pulls back his pant leg, and he's got no leg starting about 2 inches below the knee. He has it's a robot, the
Usain Bolt shit.
Blade Runner. Yeah. And so there's my opening. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And he goes, shot myself. Don't really want to talk about it. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, and I believe a lot of the scarring on his arm is skin graft type stuff, because it seems real,
Yeah.
not like super crazy sporadic injury scarring. It's a little more,
Right.
detailed. And anyways, so that happened, and immediately I'm like, holy shit! And you're a logger. Apparently he runs machinery, but still, apparently his first day on the job, something broke, and he radios and tells the guy, and the guy tells him, well, go pack that. What are they called that like tanks have and big machines have, the tracks? Mm-hmm. Something broke, and he's like, grab that and pack it over somewhere. So he's, instead of saying, hey, I have only one leg,
Right.
he gets out and tries it, and the whole crew on the radio,
I can do it myself.
the whole crew on the radio has no idea either that he is missing a leg.
Yeah.
And so they're making fun of him on the radio. They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing out here? He can't even get through the brush, and he's out there hobbling around, and they're making fun of him.
Oh, man.
And then the boss gets on, and they're like, who are you guys talking about? And they're like, this fucking guy running the yard or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he barely even can fucking get around. And
Can't
they're
even walk.
like, he has one leg.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh.
Oh.
So then there was that, and the night goes on, and then this guy's getting a little more drunk. The other guy, Merle,
Yeah.
and I gave him the name Merle because he seems like an old man, but
Right.
he's really 19. Keep that in mind, folks. Merle's 19. So, at this point, and he was completely serious about the prenatal stuff. He was like, there was no humor. Oh, Munk Diggs. Just turn the mic up.
I just walked through a cobweb in my room.
Oh God.
I can't hear myself on the. Oh, yeah, never mind.
I went in there to get your headphones earlier. I'm surprised I didn't.
Well, I think it was you might have broke it up and it was just floating
Jesus.
around.
Munkus joins the podcast, ladies and gents.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How's your bracket?
Still intact.
Nice.
I think.
Almost busted it last night. Notre Dame.
Louisville's playing right now. They were up by 6.
That's what you
last
get
I
for
looked.
being Catholic and believing in God, Notre Dame.
Not very many people.
God's not real, obviously. You're going home.
They were so disappointed. It was. Did you watch any of it? The end of that game?
Yeah.
Oh my God! They thought they won it. I think they thought they had won that game.
They were leading majority of the game.
At the end of it, when they shot those 2 free throws, and then all of a sudden it was 8 seconds, and they go and they shoot that shot.
What was that?
I didn't like it. I didn't think it was
And the
very-
double pump too. I didn't get that. I was just put it up.
They
You got
didn't need a 3.
No.
It was like, why run to the
But
corner?
I
Those
noticed
guys
about
were flying.
Kentucky, they are so long and they close fast.
They had 3 guys on that shot. Like,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
close everything I saw. Like it was tough for. Notre Dame played well.
Yeah.
because it was tough for them.
You got Kentucky winning it?
I have Kentucky win it, and I have Louisville, them playing Louisville.
Yeah,
So if Louisville
I
wins
agree with
today,
that.
they're in the Final Four. I like it. No one else.
I hope you're high energy right now, Marcus, because me and Kynes are about to take a nap.
Oh man, I got a little bit.
I am
going on.
fumbling through a story. I'm in the middle of fumbling through a story. I'm glad you fucking brought me out of my
Oh God,
fade here.
I
Okay,
haven't
so
talked to anybody really. Well, actually, I did talk to people yesterday.
the boxer dog doesn't count.
Oh no,
The boxer puppy.
I was there by myself.
So I'll catch you up. I went to this party with Jessica where I didn't know anybody. There was a 19-year-old kid that was redneck and calls weed dope and weed smokers dopers.
And he has a mullet.
And he has a mullet, which he takes prenatal vitamins for to grow it out lustrous and beautiful.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. So his name in this story is Merle, because he's a 19-year-old that sounds like I described a 60-year-old man.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop talking about his messed up shoulder and injuries. The other guy in the cast has 1 foot. The other guy in the cast actually never needed to wear a cast because he blew his foot off, apparently. Cool guy, though. So,
Very good with guns.
so at this point, after I shredded him, he got a little quiet. And I was like, oh, I ruined, and he started talking about wanting to leave, but he was drunk. So I was like, nah, man, like, you need to hang out and just stay here, just keep drinking, which normally it's like, oh, he's a douche, let him go. But after being a guy that got a DUI, I don't want to see anybody else get one. And
Right.
maybe a couple people I want to see get one, but I don't remember feeling sad when Bieber got one, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
Those
you know,
ones
I
you
talked
kinda
him into
celebrate.
staying, and I go out to out front where the girls are hanging out because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna mosey over this way, and I open the door and they're all talking about shaving their pussies. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go back inside. I just talked
Yeah.
what's his name into. I talked Merle into staying because he was gonna drive, and Beatrice gets pissed. She's like, what the fuck did you do that for? I hate that guy. And he's the boss's son also. He's the boss's son of Brian, the other guy, the 1 foot guy.
Oh,
Works for his dad.
right on.
So so they're trying sometimes
Was
they want
this
to
last night?
it was 2 nights
2
ago.
nights ago.
They want to smoke weed. So they're trying to sneak around it because they know that Merle is very against it.
He's very
dope.
anti.
Dopers.
Doper.
And yeah, don't if you're a doper, you better not be working on the mountain with me. They're loggers.
Blam, damn, blam,
Blam,
blam, blam.
Oh, check! I forgot, you guys. I got a tambourine.
Wonder what that was.
We're fucking halfway to being a morning zoo show. So that's for punchlines.
Drummer in the background.
That's for anytime somebody says gay stuff. I don't know what it's for. So anyways, so she's like mad at me for talking to this guy into staying. And but I'm like, you know, he doesn't need to be driving.
Yeah.
And
He
plus
could kill somebody.
I'm in my phone every 10 minutes writing down notes for this CaveCast because the guy just constantly providing me with material. So I go in and I go out back because that's where the guys went, and apparently they had just got done with an arm wrestling fight because after I kind of shredded him a little bit, I think he needed to get a little manhood back.
Right.
Because he also talks about how many fights he's been in and all this.
This is a highly conservative party.
No,
Or there's liberal. Is it mixed up 50-50 pretty good? Sounds
I would
like-
say a bunch of don't cares and one Republican 19-year-old.
Oh, poor kid.
And one halfway libertarian that doesn't usually know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So they're outside. They just got done arm wrestling. I'm like, oh boy, this party has gone to this level
Yeah.
right now. And
Now we're having contests.
yeah, and so I'm like, we're chilling, we're bullshitting, and I could tell Brian's cool. He's got a good sense of humor, and he's getting my jokes, and laughing and whatnot, and throwing it back. Well, Beatrice comes out back where we're at, and she's like, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we just got done arm wrestling, and Merle starts talking about how tough he is, and she's like, oh, how fucking tough are you? I think you're a pussy.
Yeah.
And she starts bombing on him every time he says a sentence. She starts shredding his life.
What you gotta love about girls sometimes.
This girl did not hold back, and she grabs his hand and she's like, squeeze my hand. I want to see how strong you are. You're so strong,
Yeah.
And you could see the uncomfortableness just start in him. Whereas me, I would have been like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
What? Why?
I'm not gonna squeeze your hand.
I would obviously fucking crush the bones in it to dust because you're a woman. No.
I would just take her hand and put it on my balls.
See? Another viable option for...
This is how
But
strong
no,
I am.
he stays there and he's like, I don't want to, you're a girl. But he's trying to be tough guy, but he's also feeling super uncomfortable about this. So she's like, come on, you fucking pussy, squeeze my hand. and I just, and he gives it a little squeeze and she's like, that's all you got, you fucking sissy. And just emasculates him. And I've never seen this done in this way before.
Yeah.
But she challenged his like tough guyness with a girl's energy of not giving a fuck. And I just watched the fucking, like, he probably gonna vote for whatever the Democrat president is in 2 years at this
You
point.
seen a switch?
I just seen his balls crawl back up in his body and all the fucking testosterone just melted out of him
Yeah.
in this handshake thing. And he just, he just kind of started hanging his head and was like, he said something and she's like, you're such a little bitch. And he's like, yeah, I'm a bitch. He's like, I'm a bitch. I'm gonna go. And then so
Reminds me of my sister.
so he tries to leave, and Brian goes in and gets him and makes him stay, you know, because he's all drunk and he's the boss's kid. He doesn't want him to leave either. And so he brings him back out, and then he's just being all quiet, you know, just kind of kicking pebbles around. And she's like, they start talking about arm wrestling again. She's like, I want to arm wrestle you. And he sits down and he's like, my shoulder's all fucked up. And I'm like, dude, she's a girl.
He's just totally defeated at this point.
He's completely just been stomped on all night at this point. And she grabs his hand and just slams his hand down and gets up. Woo! And just fucking letting this guy have it.
He sinks another 10 decibels.
Yeah, and she, at one point she slapped him in the head. She's like, "I just don't fucking like you."
Yeah,
and just call it just you fucking bitch, you
this
pussy.
sounds like Tara when she meets a guy like this.
Really?
Yeah.
Just it was amazing. Well, they have like a swinging bench, the little covered swinging bench that goes out back outside, and he goes and he lays down on it, and she's just sitting at the table like fucking like Pacino.
Yeah.
Just. You fucking pussy, and just going off on him still, and he's just like, he's tried to leave like 3 times by this point and been brought back in.
Yeah, just to be shredded more.
Yeah, and then the last straw, which was, I guess it wasn't the last straw, but it was the last that I saw because we left soon after. She picked up an empty beer bottle and ran over to him where he was laying down and lifted his legs up and tried to shove the beer bottle in his asshole.
Oh my God.
Like for 5 minutes, like she was really trying to get that thing in there, and you just watch Brian the whole time, just being so uncomfortable with how
he's like, this is
gonna come back on me. This is gonna come back to me, you know.
Yeah.
like he's so uncomfortable, but at the same time he's laughing at some of the funny stuff, and but then we ended up leaving, and the whole time I was in my phone, and Jessica's going, fucking knock it off, you know, because I'm taking notes the whole time, and I'm writing shit down, and she knows what she knows what I'm doing. Anytime something happened, I'm just like,
make sure I remember this shit.
And that was about it. The whole thing was.
Girls are good for that because Tara, like I was saying, is that way. They just blow hards or whatever.
Yeah.
Tara immediately gets annoyed by that, just like anybody else. But, being a girl, you can confront a guy like that and pretty much know you're safe for the most part, as far as getting punched in the mouth.
Right.
So girls can do stuff that maybe a guy can't without getting into a fist
Have a
fight.
fucking army behind him if a guy does hit him.
Yeah.
You know?
and some girls realize that and Tara's that way. And I mean, I've seen Tara just shred dudes in that way. Like, and you just sometimes, it's too much, but other times you're just so happy they did it.
Budro,
Bud.
What's happening?
what's happening?
Because they're saying what everybody in the room's kind of thinking. you
Yeah.
know? And not only that, it's just funny, like watching a girl
Yeah.
shred some dude.
Yeah, and when exactly they don't give a fuck. It's not going to turn into a fight. So
Right. They're just, what's going to happen?
But and the girl energy doing it too is another thing that emasculates you even more.
Yeah.
and
his
this guy just got it.
Yeah, a Merle, with the mullet that he's proud of.
Yeah.
Hates weed. You just want that guy to get shredded by a girl.
He hates dope.
How long is this mullet?
It's not very long.
It's
He's just starting it.
It's in its larval phase, I would say, because I thought he just had long hair and he took his hat off, and I realized it was actually cut recently, and he had him do it.
Soon go into
Do
his
it in that-
cocoon
in
and
that
come
way.
out with a 10-foot mullet.
Yeah. But it was an interesting night, and
You should have probed him, man. You should have been like, "What do you? Don't you think we should get some new gun laws in?" And
I didn't.
I like when I find like a kind of aloof, really conservative guy that's outspoken like that.
Yeah.
I'll just push his buttons. I'll be like, we need to make some new gun laws, and just to get them going, like
I wanted to push him on the
you can
on the
wind those
weed
guys
thing,
up and just
and
let them go.
And I'd made mention at some point. I'm like, let's fucking do some mushrooms tonight, dude. And I'm like, I bet you don't like mushrooms either, huh?
He doesn't sound like he needed too much pushing though either. So
No.
like he was just doing it on his own.
Yeah. I just kind of sat back and took notes and let him It was so crazy, such a crazy night. And then the guy pulling back his pant leg, and having a fucking Blade Runner foot instead of a real foot.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It was just because he wasn't limping around really. He got around fine, and
right.
And they were talking about how they were loggers, and it was just such a shock.
Yeah, you wouldn't think
He literally logs like that.
Yeah, this is the other guy.
Yeah, with the 1 foot.
Yeah,
And
but
he's
he runs a yarder or something like that.
okay.
But
Yeah, he runs machinery.
All right. So he just needs to be able to stabilize.
yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how they work, but it was.
He shot himself. Is how he lost it. He said.
Yeah, he shot his foot off.
Happens. It happens.
But yeah, she was smacking him in the head and just really giving it to him, and it was very fun to watch.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
A guy that started out his evening telling me about getting in fights last weekend in the bar and how injured he is from his football days.
You're never gonna convince people by telling them that you're a badass.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you even start to talk that way, people.
This conversation's over. Yeah.
Fuck. You know.
I like a good fight story as much as the next guy, but if that's the second sentence that you're saying to somebody when you meet them, it's and don't be the first guy to tell a fight story, because you know how those happen. One guy tells one, and then eventually everybody's talking about a fight they were in at some
I had a
point.
fucking 13-second knockout.
Ronda Rousey ain't got shit. But yeah, that's
Speaking of her, I heard that she might fight Layla Ali or something like that.
that's not gonna happen.
It's just bullshit talk.
Yeah, it's just promotional stuff. I think
Didn't Layla Ali say something?
she did. She
She said
She's like kind of on the old side, isn't she?
trying to
yeah,
stay
and
relevant.
she weighs way more
Yeah,
than
she's
what
way bigger.
Rousey fights at. The bigger story with that is that Cyborg has signed a co-promotional deal with the UFC.
That's what I heard.
She defends her 145-pound title in June or July, and then her very next fight, she has to get down to 135 and fight somebody at 135.
To fight Ronda.
And then her next fight after that.
What's your
she
opinion
goes
about the whole catch weight in
that she wants the catch weight? And
the way I understood it is Ronda wants her to come down to 135.
Yes.
She obviously wants to fight at 145, and then I heard that there was a possible 140
because
catch weight.
okay, Cyborg is chiseled out of stone.
Yeah,
So making 135 is really hard for her.
right.
So she's saying it's not healthy for me to get to 135, but I can make 140. So let's just do this fight that everybody wants.
Yeah, everybody
to see.
has a limit.
And my view on it is I feel like in order for it to mean more, she needs to go to 135 and have that fight. She's right to some extent. It's just a fight that everybody wants to see, so why not
Yeah,
do it at a catch weight? But I think that title needs to be on the line because they don't have a 45-pound title in the UFC, and I think it makes it a bigger fight and it makes it mean more for Rousey and for Cyborg. But then if Cyborg wins, she's got to make
The
135
UFC
always. And
the
Always.
UFC doesn't allow title fights on catch weights.
No.
Awesome.
no,
Boxing does,
the
and that
commissions.
bothers me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, boxing has allowed Pacquiao to fight 2 or 3 title fights on the catch weights. Pacquiao's like the catch weight king. Like he made Oscar come down. He made Margarito come down.
But they did the fight because that's what people wanted to see,
Right.
basically.
They met in the middle usually somewhere.
We'll see the commissions. They won't let you've actually got to weigh for say a 135-pound title fight.
Yeah.
You have to weigh 135. For a 135-pound regular fight, you have a 1-pound allowance where you can weigh 136
Right.
and still fight, but you have to make that weight to fight for a title.
You have to at least weigh that much.
Yeah.
That's another area where Pacquiao would have been in trouble.
You don't get that 1-pound
because
allowance when it's a
Pacquiao
title
would
fight.
make the catch weight, but not even end up weighing as much as the catch weight. He always weighed under, which
So
is
he's
allowed
always
in
fighting
boxing.
bigger guys.
You just
Yeah.
can't be over. In
No,
boxing.
you can be under.
Yeah, okay,
But a non-title fight, you get a 1-pound allowance where
you could be a little over.
you can be 1 pound. Yeah, you can be 136 and get away with it. But title fight. So that's another thing. That's why they're making her do that one fight at 135
Yeah, that's fair.
is because
I think.
say they just give her the title shot and she doesn't make weight, they're fucked. That's the day before the fight.
Yeah.
So how'd you get back in here, dog?
Do you think that the Cyborg at 135 is going to be how bad is she going to be hurt by that? Is Ronda going to beat the real Cyborg if she's
The
135?
deal is her shoulders are 6 feet wide.
Jesus Christ.
So
That's a huge bitch.
So she's packing around. She would have to get rid of muscle to do it right, but it can be done.
Yeah.
She would have to make the commitment to go down to 135 permanently.
Jesus.
Because she's got no room really at 145. She's all muscle. She doesn't have a lot of wiggle room.
And would she be fighting in the first few fights at a disadvantage?
Possibly.
Because
Yeah,
she's not used
because
to it.
when you suck that much out of your body, it's hard to get it back within the 24 hours before your fight.
Yeah.
It's almost like it would be benefit her to have more than one fight at 135 before
Yeah.
actually fighting her.
Yeah, that's why they're saying at least one.
I get why Ronda's the A side of the contract.
Yeah.
And so I get her position. But it always just bothers me when a fighter tries to make the other fighter do too much. You want them to beat the real them.
Well, that's
you
what
know?
people say is like, you won't fight the best Cyborg if you
Right.
fight her at 135. But
That's why I respected, like, Floyd went up and fought Oscar at Oscar's weight. He didn't make Oscar come down. Floyd went up
and both
fought
people feel
Canelo.
better that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see these guys, some of them go up in weight for like one fight, just
Right.
to, like, Ben Henderson fought at 170 recently, and you hear him talk about how much better they feel not having to cut weight.
Right.
And a lot of them look a lot better too. There's some guys that are carrying a little extra that need to probably go down a weight class where they could be more efficient and it wouldn't take much from their body. But then there's guys that, like Anthony Johnson used to do, who has fought at 220, but now he fights at 205. He used to fight at 170,
Wow.
and
Big
he knocked motherfuckers out bad. He's 6'2", and he was fighting at 170 and just yoked out. I'm sure he probably weighed 195 the night of the fight, like because he's got that frame where the water weight probably adds a lot to him. But for years he killed himself. Probably took a few years off of his career and maybe even his life trying to make that weight. And then
Yeah.
he just started missing weight. He's younger and was too stubborn to go up. And now that he's at 205, he's destroying people. And he's like,
Right.
I can't believe I was
Sometimes
doing
just
that
a
to my
change in
body.
weight class can change things. Like Cotto was having problems in boxing and at the welterweight, and then he just went up a weight class
Yeah.
and just it was
Body
like,
felt better, wasn't taxing
Yeah.
it for a weight cut instead of just
and he was
focusing on
once a-
training.
He was now like his speed was better in this weight class than it was against the welterweights, and he turned his whole career around, just going up a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fine science that you have to figure out.
Yeah.
Can I make this weight, and then can I make this weight safely? Like Henan Barao was a real big for the 135-pound class, and he passed out and hit his head right before weigh-ins
Jesus.
and wasn't going to make weight, so they had to cancel the fight the day of.
Yeah, when Oscar fought Pacquiao, not only was he at the end of his career, and he'd come down to welterweight for the first time in like a decade.
Yeah.
Freddie Roach even admitted it. His Pacquiao's trainer, he said, as soon as I looked at Oscar's arms, I saw the IV. That he had, he
Had to
saw
get
the
fluids.
marks from an IV.
Yeah.
He's like, I told Pacquiao just to jump on him, and Pacquiao whipped the fuck out of
Yeah,
Oscar.
yeah, and that's what it is. That's another thing. It affects your cardio when you're doing nothing but trying to suck water weight out of yourself, and you don't get properly rehydrated. See those guys gas out quick.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You gotta find that perfect middle ground.
You think Cyborg could beat Ronda Rousey?
Yeah.
She has the capability.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they both.
I've never seen her fight.
At this point, it's a fucking good fight.
The competition level is equal.
Yeah.
So it's like Mayweather Pacquiao.
I think 3 years ago Cyborg fights Rousey and she probably destroys Rousey. And I
Wow.
think now Rousey's only getting better.
Yeah.
She had that base that her judo is better than any dudes I've seen that do judo and MMA. Like she is really amazing, and not just for a woman. She's fucking incredible judo level. But now she's working on her hands and her kicks and stuff like that, and that's only improving every. Well, I guess we didn't really see much.
Yeah, I was gonna say
14 seconds.
How many minutes has she fought in her last?
She's only made it out of the
fights?
first round. I believe one time with Misha Tate. She
That
went to the
benefits
third.
Cyborg a lot. I think just not having the ring. I mean, what is she like 13-0? Ronda, what's her
Something
record?
like that, 13 or 14. Well,
And
Cyborg doesn't get out of the first round often
Yeah,
either.
true. Okay.
She just blows through.
They got to
chicks.
make that fight happen, man.
Yeah, or else it's eventually going to be too late. You know, they talked about GSP and Anderson Silva for years, and then now it's like, even if they made that now, it's like,
That's why I'm so glad they finally
Yeah.
did get the Mayweather Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
You can't let these guys retire.
and
without-
they're still on top right now. It's the
Yeah.
the edge of being too late to
yeah,
make that
this
fight
was pretty much
interesting.
if they didn't do it now, it probably wouldn't have ever happened.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's Oh, do we need to do a name that juicer with you on the Pacquiao Mayweather fight?
Possibly.
Do you feel like you can make a call here? Like, do you feel like that's gonna happen, or
I don't think anybody's going to be dirty, but that doesn't mean the Pacquiao. I've been suspicious of Pacquiao just
Yeah.
because anybody who turns away millions of dollars because they want a cutoff of their blood testing. And his only reason is that he wanted a 7-day buffer between the last blood test and the fight night because he's afraid of needles. But he needed a 7-day buffer.
That's not a good.
It's pretty round
That doesn't
number
mean
there.
he's dirty, but it is make you go,
What?
Yeah. Like, but I don't think that he's stooped because he agreed to USADA testing.
I'd offer him a 5-day buffer and see what he says. Nope, need 7 days.
Floyd wanted
7
him
days.
to agree to totally random and that they would have to do a pre and post fight. And Pacquiao refused to do it. But then later on down the road, Pacquiao agreed to do it. This when they did negotiations the second time, and that time the fight didn't happen because Floyd wanted more money than Pacquiao. So then the fight didn't happen that time.
It's fun watching Kynes try to deal with his phone and tell a story at the same time.
What the fuck? Oh yeah. Then Floyd wanted a certain percentage.
Yeah.
They wanted 50-50, so the fight didn't happen again. Then
Floyd was
Pacquiao
like, "No
went and
fucking
got knocked out by Juan Marquez, and Floyd got his A side of the contract, and Floyd got a 60-40 split.
Now that's what they're doing, 60-40.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think Pac-Man should think that's fair too.
Here's what was the thing that wasn't Mayweather wouldn't sign something. It was like $5 million.
Yeah,
thing
they signed
for
all the
drug
contracts for this
testing.
fight. Yeah, and Mayweather is the one that always insists on the random USADA testing, which is the best testing. They both agreed to do the USADA testing. After everything was signed, and they've already been doing press conferences, Pacquiao's camp proposed a thing to Mayweather where they would, if somebody was dirty, they had to give up $5 million.
Okay, that's what I was.
Floyd
Fucking boxers make a lot of money.
Floyd
was like-
it's just like that wouldn't
Floyd was
affect
like,
their
"Fuck
purse.
off! No, I'm not going to
fuck
agree
you."
to that." And Floyd also pointed out, first of all, I'm not agreeing to that because we're done with the contracts, and if you come in dirty, you're losing more than $5 million.
Yeah.
And even Bob Arum said that. He's like, there's no reason to sign an extra agreement. And Bob Arum is Pacquiao's promoter.
Right.
Bob Arum was like, there's no reason for us to do a special agreement. If one of these guys comes in dirty, they're losing way more than $5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's head games. It's both camps are going to be doing stuff now. Like
That was a basically disrespectful thing to say.
Pacquiao,
Yeah.
I think Pacquiao should hire Conor McGregor to write for him.
they're doing shit to get in each other's heads. Floyd always demands USADA.
Did
If Floyd
Pacquiao
was
just
using-
yell,
I mean,
"Go Ireland"? What?
Yeah, I don't believe Floyd's dirty. I mean, Floyd is the one that demands USADA every fight.
No.
He doesn't even need it.
I didn't think Floyd was. That's what I was trying to figure out. Was
He's all got
the
some.
whole
He's all got some
reasoning for that
side piece
even
contract
being
with
something.
USADA.
Yeah, it could be. You never know. But I think it's head games. Like they're just gonna be sniping at each other back and forth.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Roach claimed that
Hyping
he
the
got.
fight.
Freddie Roach claimed that he got special information that Floyd got knocked out in training. When it actually turned out that Floyd knocked out his training partner.
Yeah.
But Roach is saying that to get in each other's heads. They're gonna fuck with each other all the way up to the
Freddie
fight.
Roach's been in the game a long time.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. That's crazy.
I can't wait, dude. May 2nd. I don't think I'm gonna be able to afford it, but I like
I said,
yeah. I think I might find a way to
Off
watch
the
it.
record. Off the record.
record and off the radar.
Well, let's you got anything really grinding your gears?
No.
What about you, bud? We introduced you and you haven't said a word.
Yeah.
Say hi to the people, for fuck's sakes.
Hello, people.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. We will be back next week. No more weeks off. Those are only special occasions.
If we did a word from our sponsors,
Yeah, we did.
Damn it.
We already did break him. I did it for you. I must say, I don't know if we really need you. I don't know if you're right for the job anymore.
Not right for the job anymore.
No, I didn't. I didn't do it any justice.
oh fuck.
Shit. I
Sure you
forgot
did fine.
what the song of the day was. I did want to say
Later.
the CaveCast has some fucking reach because we got Damian Lillard on the All-Star game, on the All-Star team. That happened right after we talked about it. And then last night I played you guys, or last CaveCast, I played you guys KI Design battle rap videos. He's getting back in the ring.
Oh shit.
He like 3 days later, he's got a fight sign, so to speak.
CaveCast,
Right on.
CaveCast has weight, man.
Yeah. I think
Push
it
weight.
packs a little bit behind it.
Push rhymes like weight.
So
Ice Cube.
I didn't really know as far as the song of the week. I didn't really have any idea. So I was kind of thinking about what we were talking about last week about how we like girl singers. So I did a Cat Power song,
Yeah.
and it's called Metal Heart. And
This is for that girl that shredded that dude at that party. job.
she definitely had a metal heart, and now he has none because she ripped it out.
Yeah.
But that's it. And thanks for listening. We will be back next week. This has been the CaveCast for Marcus at Munkus CMP. For Kynes at St. Kynes. For myself at Danny Admire on Twitter. And go like the Cave Music Productions Facebook page.
We're almost there.
And tell all of your mothers that we say hello. Peace.
We're 2 likes away from 100
Bring it, people.
milestones.
Losing a star without a sky. Losing the reasons why. You're losing the calling that you've been faking. And I'm not kidding. It's damned if you don't, it's damned if you do. Be true, 'cause I'll lock you up in a sad tune. Oh, hidey, 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 what you trying to prove? Hidey, 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 you ain't worth hands on a string and hold them up to light. Blue smoke will take a very violent flight, and you will be changed.